Hi fish people, and welcome back to my brackish water aquarium experiment. I'm sorry I haven't posted a while, but it's been a crazy summer. I don't think I need to explain that to anybody, but I'm sorry anyways. I'm going to be posting some more stuff. The reason you're looking at the dirty tank right now is I haven't cleaned it in a while, because I am doing the thing I said I was going to do to the bigger tank. One of the biggest problems I had here is I put the wrong substrate in there. I should just have argonite or just sand. So I'm going to mix a bag of this argonite with a bag of this African cichlid ready to cycle sand. And on the other quarter of the tank, I'm going to put just the sand. The reason I'm doing this for the sand is that way I can keep the flounders around and some other species that just don't like this rock. And the rock and everything I put in here with the argonite, nobody likes it, and none of the species agree with it. So that was my biggest mistake from the start. So what I'm doing now is I've already rinsed the argonite. Obviously, you don't rinse the bioactive sand. I'm going to try and get everybody out of here. And when I mean everybody, there's a lot of things in here that to the naked eye you just would not see. I've got all kinds of worms and all kinds of neat doodads, so it's going to be difficult for me to get everything switched over. I'm not going to film all that. The next video you see will be the new tank. Like I said, if you've been around, I was going to put this in a much larger tank. The reason I'm not doing that is the river stinks. That's just pure and simple. The river smells bad. And this summer, although it's a busy summer, you know, that's why I really didn't post much, because I really didn't have a chance to, you know, try any new experiments or anything with it. Everything went pretty well, but we had an algae bloom, and the algae bloom lasted about 4 or 5 months. It's actually still going on. So even, you know, trying different forms of filtration and using charcoal this and whatever that, which is something I really don't want to do. I want this to be something easy. That's the experiment. I can't get rid of the smell. It's not that bad in a 10-gallon tank, but if I move it to a 30-gallon tank, it's just going to multiply the odor. So that's what we're getting here. I overfed them, is what I've heard to do. I overfed them yesterday to try and kind of help them with, they're all going to be kind of thrown into a 5-gallon bucket while I take everything out of this tank, rinse it really quick, throw this substrate in there, and fill it up with water from the lagoon. So this is going to be a project, but it has to be done like all real quick like. So that's why I'm not going to film it, because you don't want to hear and see all that. So I'll come back to you guys and I'll show you what I got after this, and I'll go over some other things that I've learned over the summer. And also, if you've been following, I'll promise that I built a bar countertop for my wife's 55-gallon tank, and it's really cool, and her tank is really cool, so I'm going to show that as well. So I'm going to make this into one video, so I'm going to stop it now, and when you come back you're going to see the argonite and the sand in the tank, and it'll be a lot better. Alright. Okay, fish people, so I take it back. I am going to show some of this. What I got is a measuring cup. And here's my groovy sand. And here's my aggregate, my crushed coral. So I got 2 cups of coral, 2 cups of sand. I'm going to go 2 more cups of coral. And I'm diving back in here. Good. Let's get a little more of that in there for 2 cups of sand. And I'm going to mix this up. And this is going on one side of the tank. Probably like almost 3/4 of it. And on the other side, I'm going to put just sand. Which, you know, around here I've kind of studied all the little creatures, and the big rocks and everything I had, they don't like. So I'm mixing even just this with the sand. And because the sand's like really good too, it's got all the goodies in there, you know, it's like bioactive live. So I'm making it a little lighter for them to dig their holes and live in. And this stuff's good too. And the other side is just going to be rock. And you can hear my cat outside the door. He's like, please let me in. I want to play with you. So that's what I'm doing here. This mix will be on one side. And the other side will be just sand. Like I said, probably like 3/4 of this mix and like 1/4 of the sand. All right, so that's what you're going to see. And that's what I'm doing here. And, you know, I live on the beach, so it's kind of like fun. I'm playing in the sand. And it's, oh, yay. Okay. All right, cool. Okay, fish people, so just like that, bam, here we are. I got everything set up. It did take a while. It took me about a good 3-4 hours. What I actually wound up doing is I took out all the big rocks and coral head and everything, and I put them in a bucket, and that kind of scooped up most of the crabs and everything. And I slowly emptied the water into the bucket. Then I painstakingly lowered the level of the water and then tried to scoop up the remainder of the fish and the gobies and everybody else. Then most of the species in here, they live in the substrate. That's the whole reason I changed the substrate. So I got like a sieve, like a colander, and you know, your fish tank, giant tweezers, and bit by bit went through the whole thing and got out every little worm and every little bit of sea life I wanted to keep in the tank. And that took a while. So after I got everybody out in the bucket, I took the tank and cleaned it out. I gave it a good scrubbing. And then on this side is that live culture sand mixed with argonite. And it goes to about here. And this is just that sand. Now, the main reason I did that is that was my biggest mistake from the beginning, was my substrate. I had argonite in there. It was a Florida crushed coral variety, and it was very large, heavy pieces. And I mixed that with like pebbles, small pebbles, like fish tank pebbles. And then I put some decorative rock in there too, thinking, ooh, this will look nice. None of the species from the river like that at all. They like this really fine stuff. The flounders want to bury themselves in here. And also the gobies, they like to, you know, make themselves little caves. And they couldn't do that with the stuff before. And everything in here, this is their stuff. Plus it gives off the right pH and all that for them, so I don't have to worry as much. One of the main reasons is you didn't see me over the summer, and yeah, that's a long time. Summer's very long here in Florida. Is because of the algae bloom. In the lagoon where I get my water, and even everywhere else I went, the water had a horrible algae bloom. And it's not only difficult to get good water, but it smells really bad. So that's one of the things I had to deal with over the summer. Now, right now, everything's pretty fine, and this is just this. I just finished this last night, and this is the morning. So this is really this is 100% fresh water from the lagoon. It hasn't really cycled yet. It's still a little cloudy, but it's very clear and very clean. I got some extra shrimp and put them in there because they do such a good job of cleaning up. It's kind of fun, you know, already my big conch, he's buried himself in there. See, he loves it already. That's one thing they like to do, and he couldn't do that before. There's one in the back, too, who's buried herself. A lot of the people who like to bury themselves are already gone. And what's funny here is in my last tank, one of the big survivors was the hermit crabs. And they were doing great until they outgrew their shells. And even they had offspring, but the offspring had nowhere to go. So I kept all these little shells from my last tank, and I deposited them all around the tank. Well, this crab right here, he's got a home back there. And he has grabbed every little shell from all around the tank, brought him back in his den, cleaned them out to see if there's anything alive in there. And when he's done, he's deposited them in this pile. So, I mean, that's kind of how much fun it is to do this, you know, with everybody from the river and everything in the brackish water. So that's all from now. These two videos are going to wind up probably the longest video I've ever done. Like I said, I'm going to keep you updated on this because I have some other things I'm going to show you on how I change the way I filter the water and the medium I have in the filter. And also, I'm going to show you my wife's big fish tank that's absolutely beautiful and the bar I built for it. And soon I'll be doing a freshwater tank for myself. So I'm back on a limited basis, I would say. And hi, fish people. And I hope you enjoy my tank.